Welcome back to the Renegade Report. I'm your host, Francis Mayer, Sports Information Director and Multimedia Outreach Specialist. Yes, it does fit on a business card for Bakersfield College and your Renegades. Coach Carl Ferreira has decided that making the playoffs once in an academic year, well, it just wasn't quite enough. In fact, why not make it 2 more times? Yes, you can make the postseason twice in one sport, and Coach Carl Ferreira pays a visit to my office and my new soundstage to tell us all about it. Take a look.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic first beach season for Bakersfield College athletics. And it's been much, much more rewarding than I thought it was going to be. Everybody tells you that it's great, you're going to get a lot out of it. And hearing that, but then going through the season and gaining everything that our players have gained has been more than what I thought it was going to be. So it's been fantastic.
And Coach, we got to see Darianne Heathcott off to Stanislaus. Congratulations to her, and we'll talk about her in a little bit. But she wasn't part of the beach volleyball experience, even though she was one of the led the state in kills for most of the year. But we had some folks not necessarily come out of the woodwork, but talk about Matthews, for example.
Yeah, our number one team on the beach this year are 2 former players that played 2 years ago. Alyssa Matthews and Sarah Arndt. And, having them be a little bit more experienced is tremendously helpful. So they anchored us at the number 1 spot. They did a terrific job coming back. And I think they were great role models for the younger players that were kind of trying to feel their own way. And maybe while a younger player is still trying to get their wits about them, I think Sarah and Alyssa's maturity was able to stabilize the troops.
And did the troops need a lot of stabilizing? Because speaking of stabilized, this is a new surface that we're playing on. We're going from indoor hard court to outdoor and sand. That's a huge change.
Yeah, it's beyond fantastic. And I think the first 2 weeks, the fatigue level in their lower body was off the charts, and you just had to get used to having your legs in sand, moving around, not having anything to push off. And it took a while to just get used to, your movement patterns. Indoor, you move a lot. Maybe you move too much. Outdoor, you really have to be stable and make every movement efficient, or you're not going to get to the ball. But it was awesome. I mean, and then when you're laying out to go get a ball, you don't really get hurt. You just get a mouthful of sand.
which is a lot better than the alternative, than getting a court burn or whatever you call it in the indoor scene. Now, you had a great talent pool to draw from, obviously, because as you put it, our indoor team played to their potential in qualifying for the postseason, didn't they, Coach?
Yes, they did. And that's really one of the things you're always looking for is what is it going to take for us to reach our potential. You're not going to always win the big one. One team walks away as champions at all times. But really, how you define success, the objective of every contest we play is to determine a winner. So, yes, we're trying to be successful, but there's a process to the whole thing. And our indoor team, I think, having been in postseason, gave them an understanding about the process. And then they were really able to carry that on to the beach. So, really, the heaviest amount of training was in the fall. And this was just learn how to play on the beach, but just kind of carrying over all the mental skills and the team components from what we did indoor.
And what I didn't realize until this year was a lot of things about beach volleyball. For one, it's sort of like tennis in that we have squads 1 through 5, and they're pairs, right?
Yes.
And our number 1 pair plays against Rio Hondo's number 1 pair, and so on and so forth. But then when it comes to the postseason, it's almost like there's 2 brackets. We have a team competition, and then we have a pairs competition. And
I think that was really exciting for our players. And being the first-year program, we were still trying to figure it out down the wire, explaining how this was all going to work. So we'd start off with our Western State Conference individual championships, and in doing so, everybody was on the bracket equally, and so you got to play teams from the other schools. And then in that regard, we had 4 of our 5 teams advance to the second round. And then from there, only one team, Alyssa and Sarah, advanced to the state tournament finals. That's happening this upcoming Saturday and Sunday down at Grossmont College. So they finished tied for third in the individual team portion of it. The second part of that is, as a collective team, we made the regional playoffs, and again, that's where we needed all the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth combining to, as you mentioned, very much like tennis. And then our team score mattered, and so we were able to qualify for the team state regional tournament, and that was great. And we lost in the regional bracket to two very outstanding teams, Irvine Valley and Miracosta College. That Irvine Valley ended up advancing to the Final Four, but still an outstanding team season for our squad.
And Coach, I hate to belabor this, and hopefully next year when we're talking about beach volleyball's inevitable return to the postseason, of course, because it's easy, right?
Exactly.
How many ladies on this year's beach team had extensive experience playing on the sand?
That would be none.
What? Matthews and Arn included.
Correct.
Wow.
I think when you first ask, have you played beach volleyball, everybody says yes. But that's down at the local city park, or maybe one or two people might have had a youth tournament, but nobody had ever trained in beach volleyball on any consistent basis. So starting in January was the first chance for them as players to begin the process of training on the beach. And really the same for me. I mean, I had played personally a lot of doubles, but I've never coached doubles. So I got on the phone with a lot of colleagues that I know that coach at other institutions, and I said, please tell me what I need to do. So I did my research, got the correct types of drills that we needed to do, and then we went to work. And so it's been a wonderful experience and a very rewarding experience for the players.
And Coach, that's something that's inherent to you. I've been to clinics before where you've invited colleagues up to teach techniques, and you, despite the fact that you coached at the Division I level, despite the fact that you played volleyball since you were knee-high to a grasshopper, you're not afraid to ask for help, are you?
No. To me, it's life is about learning, and it's if you're asking your athletes to learn, then I think we should be in the same boat. So life's about learning. I got on the phone, I called some colleagues, got some information, went on website, watched some video from some Olympians and saw some movement patterns, watched the Pac-12 network, saw some tactical things, and it just kept coming back to learn. And so we're all learning in this together. So I think that's what made it fresh, rewarding, and then to have success on top of it, I think, was the icing on the cake.
And was that fun for you altogether? I mean, the learning and then to have that it turned into winning?
Yeah, I think so. You know, one of the rules in beach volleyball is you cannot coach while the ball is in action. You can only give them feedback on a side exchange or a timeout. So that's different. I mean, as an indoor coach, you seem to be always giving some feedback. You can sub players in with information. So here, part of the training was you're actually teaching them how to make adjustments on their own. And that was really, I think they were all used to the indoor game as well, where maybe we overcoached them, and this they had the autonomy to really grow as communicators, problem solvers, and then come up with some tactics that, hey, we've got to change this, call their own timeouts. So it was a kick.
No, it absolutely sounds like it. And it sounds like you're excited to be coaching this again next year. And I know that you have held some camps and some other learning opportunities for community youth in the past. Is there anything going on over the summer that you would advise local parents to get their kids involved in if they do want to succeed at the high school or college level in volleyball?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they should be paying attention to our website. We've always hosting camps and clinics, position specific. I think that's a big part of the individual training component. I think there's 3 phases to all of it. I think there's training, there's practicing, and there's performing. And I think you've got to coach all of those differently.
Again, just to reiterate, how awesome was it to have beach volleyball qualify for the postseason in their first year of existence, and how is that going to bode for recruiting going forward?
It was fantastic. I knew I was going to be excited to coach beach volleyball. I think it was much, much more rewarding than I thought it was going to be. And from a player's perspective and talking to them, it was a blast. And part of our training, we were practicing outdoors and indoors equally twice a week. So we got to see their outdoor game begin to instantly permeate indoors. So, sometimes you're wondering, is it going to have an effect? Will the positive benefits of only two players touching the ball every other time carry over to the indoor game? And the answer is absolutely. So I almost saw the transfer happening instantaneously. So, and our players did as well. So I think that's the exciting part of it. They know they got better. They know they got a lot out of it. And I think, as you stated earlier, for them to go to the postseason twice in one academic year, both indoors and on the beach, I think is fantastic.
So again, this weekend at Grossmont College, we want to give a big push to our lone remaining postseason team, duo, as it were, Matthews and Aaron. Am I saying that right?
Yes, Aaron.
Aaron, there we go. They're going to be playing at Grossmont College. So as we like to say, go Big Red to them and baseball in an incredible run this year for BC Athletics in general. I think 15 and 19 teams qualifying for the postseason, including 2 coached by you, Coach Ferreira.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and thanks for taking time to talk to us. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you. Out. What does that Kobe say? Kobe out. Obama did that. Obama out.
Awesome. Coach Carl, everybody. I'm sorry. I fell under the hypnotic trance that is Coach Carl Ferreira. If you have any time to spend with him, even if you're not interested in volleyball, you just want to know how to treat people better or get along better with your spouse, it's Coach Carl Ferreira. He also teaches classes on campus, but get in while you can fit in. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the BC volleyball team, just one of our 15 of 19 teams that qualified for the postseason and are competing to bring back perhaps another title to throw on the bonfire that is the storage of trophies that we keep in the Gil Bishop Sports Center. 170 conference titles. You heard right. I'm still under the spell of Ferreira. I'm going to get some water, and then we'll come back and wrap up the show. There's a little more Renegade Report yet to come. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.